Wow, what an epic performance from Arsenal. The Gunners, yes. Before the game, Mikel Arteta said they would do their talking on the pitch. Of course, they've done it beyond imagination. The first half was cagey, but indeed, Arsenal once again now winning against Real Madrid this season. On back to back, home and away. First leg 3-0, second leg 2-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu. Upon all that Madrid did, Arsenal came out top. Meaning they say they are true to the semi-finals for the first time in 16 years. Don't forget, the last time when we in Real Madrid, no, Arsenal were able to get to the finals. Unfortunately, they lost to Barcelona. Can similar scenario really happen? And now saying and a season ever unfolding, but classic display by Arteta and Emrantier. You see, to be able to stay in the game when the odds were not favoring you and make sure Sampa Ube make you moment count on is just so outstanding, just phenomenon. And that is what Arsenal has been able to do. I think with this, a lot of people will put credit on Mikel Arteta. Near Juma, why you with this Arsenal side? Everyone say Arsenal now. What are these people going to say? Again, in the course of this game, in fact, this very 2 legs, certain players like Declan Rice, of course, I've always praised this very player because of the level of performance, the quality that he brings on board, influence in games, and then it was just as the first leg, even though one shego, but the general game involvement was just phenomenal and outstanding. And Mas Lewis Kelly, for a teenager to be playing at this level, in fact, the role given to him, and then so by midfield was signed by defense, Obuas in defended, and yes, Abrantian so influencing game extremely well. And aside, it was a game that, in fact, Bukayo Saka will have to write his own story about it, because looking at this, at the first, they got a penalty on the 11th minute. Guess who? And Odegaard never, and he was instructed to give it to Saka. Saka eventually spoiled the penalty, and that was some brilliant save from Courtois. The energy and the way of Barry Bono at the toe corner kick was outstanding to keep Madrid in the game. But unfortunately, Anyeye, now Real Madrid Saka by ever redeeming with a very beautiful chip. In less than 2 minutes, Vinicius Jr. through Abrantier D. Eddie William Saliba an error. And the man also take 1-1. Now, the Sa in the second half at but still, game never ended. Gabriel Martinelli about with a very beautiful and outstanding goal. And I repeat, Arsenal winning by 2-1. And that session of the Arsenal fans clearly are very, very happy to witness this very moment. Credit and kudos to the entire squad. The truth is, on the evidence of performance, they've proven to Madrid, so they cannot match them this season. And I know, you see, Madrid tried some but it wasn't meant for the defending champions. They are out. And don't forget, they are 15 times winners of the Champions League. Maybe Madrid can take solace from this motivation. Say, because there's nothing in this very competition of winning it and defending it for 5 times. They did it again in this modern era, winning it and defending it for 3 times. They did it last season. They won it. So if you look at the current squad, Real Madrid Ekuta says here, and maybe Mbappe and Hendrick, and I because a Champions League comedy all the other players and then even other Gulenum 1-1 near there. So they are not really angry, but they gave their all. In fact, you ask yourself, say, if Real Madrid are able to put up this performance, this level of commitment, and then Vinicius was out of this world. In fact, 2 teams in Obian or Bobo, Edison Vinicius Jr. His influence, his impact, Mbappe Piano, but Vini got a go. And in fact, so Madrid team now, I think looking at this very competition, when we say it is theirs, it is because they make this very beautiful. Look at the stadium, the atmosphere. In fact, before the game, Madrid lose by 3-0 in the first half, and then making sure say still remember game where you the way they did it. In fact, they're talking before the game, and even before say game, the atmosphere, the welcoming atmosphere, fans, and the team bus, the arrival, be a fire, be every corner, even na anoche, gigantic atmosphere, and then inside the stadium, the tifo that we spoke about, the fans, the way on color stadium, plus the atmosphere, the roar inside the stadium, was just on a different level. Yes. That is what makes Real Madrid. This Champions League is DSR or air patch. And now that Arsenal, Etimia Remuno, say the parent I said, Inter qualify. And right now, Arsenal versus PSG, Inter Milan, Barcelona, believe it or not, and on the semi-final parents, who wins the Champions League, and answer Team Sibain and the Betimiako finals. May who score our comment session. But again, you know, after this, in fact, Real Madrid will have to focus on the league and then the Copa del Rey final against Barcelona. But you see, since in the career, they have to sit down and look at the squad, look at the depth. I've explained this time and again that looking at the quality of Real Madrid, honestly, a lot of players need to be out of this squad, and then Real Madrid will need to bring in certain profile, certain players. Ancelotti, with 40 minutes to go, Uyi Rodrigo, now the Endrick, and then cover him there simple. And then again, look, and even Jubilee, but truth is, when I talk about the Madrid profile, Courtois did everything to save the team. Looking at the substitutions, Frank Garcia, honestly, and young Madrid Nayemra, Raul Asensio Crano, and the international first choice centre back, Wamba, Obieniho, Alaba injured, Onya fit enough, but he was used. Truth is, Madrid here say omobeto quality at the argument. Look, how many connects and a Madrid enya gone are the days and can Madrid ever stage comeback say ya corner kicks near there Madrid better take advantage. This time round nini na omobotugi. I've already told you guys. So Madrid struggle to defend set pieces and again to utilize omonso dia omunya, and I know and I do a lot of problems and all this Madrid team that will need to be fixed or looked at the end of the season. As if Fiorentino press ever from no G2 says so top quality. Eddie Beshema and son a team no Edru baby I say Edru. And yes, they are first results and Arsenal they are Real Madrid no. And upon all those struggles, Madrid elusu 6 games of this year's Champions League. Could you believe it? Champions League in a single competition. We lose 6 times. Not just that. When him says the last 2 meetings, Arsenal, Real Madrid, or Santiago Bernabeu. Echese Arsenal for no, we have to do history no, and not sem ketwa. Again, before the game, so Arsenal had gone 78 games. The last 78, team B, and team show 3 goals or more. And then so they were able to protect that. And the Mikel Arteta, honestly, you did the talking on the pitch. Ancelotti is 22 years older than Arteta, but Arteta saw Shinibim.